Happy 3 weeks! Let me just... Happy 3 weeks! Hang on. Useless keyring. Oh! Happy 3 weeks! Hi, I'm Jake, and I'm doing these videos every day just to keep track of these weird times we're living in, and also to keep you company. And this is day 21, so that's officially 3 weeks we've been in. 3 weeks we've been, you know, on lockdown, and we've been in our houses, and everything's been closed. And it's been, I guess, maybe about 4.5 to 5 weeks that I've actually been in quarantine, because obviously if you've been watching these from the beginning, you'll know that Ben got quite ill early into all of this. Don't know if that was coronavirus or not. But yeah, basically 3 weeks ago, the UK was put under some stricter rules to make sure that people stayed inside their houses and only left when absolutely necessary for either like exercise or food, or to help people who were vulnerable and stuff like that. And they gave a review date of 3 weeks, and that's I think what was critical, is it was to be reviewed in 3 weeks. A lot of people thought that maybe we would be, you know, back out on the streets and in pubs by halfway through April, but I don't think that was ever the case. The review appears to have been delayed because Boris Johnson had coronavirus. I haven't done a lot of news updates, but he's fine, by the way. He's, I think, now out of hospital entirely. He was out of the intensive care unit, and now he's out of hospital recovering at home with his fiance or whatever. I don't know, I don't really follow his life. So I guess maybe that review will happen soon, but it looks like we're going to be under longer, at least another 3 weeks. And then a review, it appears. It hasn't like been officially announced yet, but the news says, you know, I'll put a little thingy here. The news says that Dominic Raab is set to announce that there's going to be a 3 week extension, which means that we're halfway through. Hey! I'll see you in another 3 weeks for a beer. Nah, you'll see me every day. But that does now mean that there's going to be... Cool. I'm quite proud of sticking to these daily videos, right? Like, that's 21 videos I've made now. And that's quite, yeah, that's quite a lot of content, isn't it? Like, I wonder what the total amount of hours what it is now to watch, like, like, how long it would take to watch the whole thing. I don't know. If anyone does, I mean, who knows? Things have been, you know, I mean, I made that video the other day about how I do feel guilty about how fun I've found it. And, you know, I talk about those thoughts in greater detail in my video about it, which I think I'll put up here or something. And that's still kind of the case, but going further and further into it, and now knowing that maybe we're only halfway through the time, it is a bit daunting, right? Like, and also I've been letting my routine slip a little bit. I stay up late into the night, and I'm not exercising like I should. I know that there are things I could do to make this whole situation much better for myself that I'm not doing. And that's because there's kind of a sinking pointlessness to it all, right? Like, what am I going to bed for? I have nothing to wake up for. Like, apart from doing one of these videos every day, everything's just really a little bit loosey-goosey. So I don't know, but I know exactly why it is I should be going to bed early and I should be getting my exercise in, and that's because it will make me feel better. Like, it's gonna make this whole thing brighter. So yeah, I've really got to get on that. I guess if we're talking about recent news updates and stuff like that, I should probably use this opportunity to talk about the cases in the UK. I think that the 3 week extension is very reasonable at this point, because the number of cases in the UK is at like 89,000 or something like that. So we're easily going to be passing over 100,000 cases in the UK. I mean, those are just the ones that have tested positive, right? Like, it's not cases in the UK. It could be 4 times that, and those people will never be tested. That's the rough thing. And the total deaths now are, you know, they're over 11,000 now, I think, which is just awful. And it doesn't show any signs of slowing yet. So I think that the fact that we're going to be at this another week at least, no, sorry, another 3 weeks, like another 3-week lockdown, seems very reasonable to me. Like, I think that everything, as I've said before, I think in one of these videos, like the only way to be sure that you're safe is to overreact, right? Like if you start making use of loopholes and stuff like that, that's not the right thing to be doing. And it's going to make this whole thing much longer for everybody. But I do wonder, so I think 3 weeks would take us to, what is it now? Like early May? Isn't it? 3 weeks would take us to like early May. But I am furloughed for April and May. So I think that, you know, this kind of lifestyle for me is still going to be for a while. And that's not to say that there won't still be another extension in May through to June. Do you know what I mean? My birthday's in July. So for me, that is a barometer of, you know, am I going to be able to celebrate my birthday with my friends? And, you know, not that it would be a huge catastrophe if I didn't. Like, I just think that that's something that I sort of have been looking forward to after all of this. Maybe having like a garden barbecue or something. And I don't know. It's kind of a shifting thing, right? Like, is that realistic? Is that not realistic? Am I just going to be drinking beers indoors? I guess time will tell, but it seems, you know, there's predictions in the news almost every day about when everything's going to go back to normal and when everything's going to be, you know, phased, and it's constantly shifting, constantly. And I really feel like there's no way to tell for sure until we get there. And the trick to staying sane at the moment is to be comfortable in that uncertainty, which is much easier said than done, jeez. But, you know, making these is actually giving me plenty to do. I'm having lots of fun. I've got games to play, you know. As I said in my video about the guilt, I'm in a super privileged position. Now, I guess just to round off, if you haven't yet, I don't know if you watched The American Office, but Jim from The American Office, the guy who plays him, John Krasinski, he is running a YouTube channel at the moment called, what's it called? Good News? I think it might just be called Some Good News or something like that, but he's basically taking on the role of a news anchor from inside his home and just like sharing good news and positivity and stuff, and it's a really, really nice watch. So I think that, you know, if you're on YouTube and you want just a little bit more positivity in your life, that's definitely one to add on. It can be a really nasty loop to get yourself caught in the numbers and stuff like that. I know that I'm keeping the numbers updated on this, but that's because this is also, although I might be having a bit of fun with the format, a way for me to document what life was like while this was going on. And I mean, I guess I could probably do with leaning into that a little bit more, like a bit more life and times vlogging, but that's boring and it means I would have to be switched on constantly. I don't know if you guys want to see that, like an ordinary day in the life. Maybe that can be an idea for an upcoming day, but yeah, I guess that's everything. Okay, bye.